you're not always going to time the market perfectly on your first attempt of the day, which is why you want to have risk left to take a second or third trade so you don't go full port on that very first one. Now, today I had to try again, and maybe even try again. So let's take a look at the charts here and see what we did, because I think the bias was favorable for myself. I don't hate all the setups. I think you could really just look back at it and say, damn, I was right. Just very, very early, tough price action. But let's go over all four, all within the same range, right? And pretty much we'll see the same idea. So we're on the electronic trading hours where you could see that overnight VWAP, right? So this is all that pre-market action, which I normally don't show you guys when we're just on the regular trading hours here, right? And if you look at it there, the longs become a lot more ugly for sure, because it looks like I'm fighting these lower highs and lower lows from the open, right? And that's the reason I longed it at pretty much every lower high. So with the 1 minute open here on regular trading hours, it looks like terrible trades that I'm better off just selling it at every point where I bought it today. And they could definitely make that argument, but when you look at it on the electronic trading hours, the reason I had this long bias in is because we're above the overnight VWAP here in black. We had a nice bullish pre-market. We get our pullback heading into the open. And the open is more so bullish, pretty sideways for sure. But you can see the blue VWAP is our New York now for today. That buyer's more so in than not, right? Trying to hold that in New York. Now let's go get that pop trend continuation. And at this point, the opening range is about to be set. Pretty much is set. So let's go higher. Stop loss at open range low. Just stopped out. But now it fully tags the overnight. So, okay, there's the retest. I thought maybe we didn't need to fully pull back to it. My mistake. It didn't need to, but it wanted to. Okay, cool. But now buyers are back in. So if this moves without me now, pretty much plays out the same idea I just had, and I don't capitalize on it, I wasn't wrong on my long. So I was kind of just early. I have to try it again, right, to see this idea through, because I wasn't really told I was wrong yet. And then it makes another new low a day. So we don't just jump into the short saying, okay, well, surely if I can't take two longs and they both lose, I'll just short it, because that must be the way, right? But obviously that's very emotional. We don't want to do that. Now it breaks above New York VWAP again. This is probably the point of the day where, again, it's not a bad setup. Stubbornness of saying, oh, really? So you're going to stop me out twice and now you're going to break above New York and run higher? All right. If that's the way you want to go, I'll get involved again. Stop loss now at the new low a day saying, that's it. We're done holding this overnight view up. That's 2 taps now. Let's go higher. I mean, sellers aren't really winning the battle. They're moving us lower slowly, but buyers keep bouncing us up. We keep getting back to this New York. So buyers are showing a little bit of strength, just not enough, as we take one more smack in the face. Damn. Okay. I don't know the last time I went 0 for 3 all in the same direction without just something clicking saying, what are you doing? And like you said, or I said earlier, you could definitely see these lower highs on top saying, even if this does move higher, the better longs will probably come after a new high, pullback. Let's make the new high, because then at least I'm trading higher highs and higher lows, which is another big point of this video. Yes, it was holding VWAPs, but structure is still falling. That I know from experience, and many of you guys as well, your best longs look like when it's building higher lows, and you're going to long it for the next higher high. Same thing for the shorts. If it's falling, pull back, fall some more. Your best shorts are going to come in there. Right, not moving lower and now let me buy it and move higher. That's a lot tougher to try to time, and that's kind of what I was doing this morning, fighting these lower highs. So I didn't take this fourth one, willing to let it go without me. If that's the one that finally wants to win, fine, but I'm not taking it, because this is just too much. I just keep getting sucked into this trap. Makes a new attempt at the open range high, couldn't quite do it. Sellers couldn't take it back though, right? So this was now like a sign of a little bit of higher low, rather than the lower highs and lower lows back here. Bearish structure. Maybe, even though there's no higher high, this can be our higher low. And that is making now a little bit more bullish structure. Okay, cool. So I'm not fighting this structure as much. So now let's get long one more time. And if this does break this shelf outside open range low, back below New York, my God, the longs are done. I'm done. I'm going outside because this is terrible. And thankfully it pushed higher for a new high day. I didn't get the whole thing, obviously, but just showing you guys the full idea of they didn't really play out at this exact time that I wanted it to. And that's fine. It's not necessarily always my job. It's to have a good stop loss and not be too heavily risked. But when you look at it, of all my longs, right, they're going to vary a little bit. But what was the price that eventually paid? It's pretty much the same price I bought it at. A little bit higher over here, but it's the same price, right? All this New York. Price is what pays. Price plus timing. I tried to be on time. Clearly, it didn't work, but I had the right price and I had the right direction. I was thinking the right direction on the trend, but price action just wanted to be a little bit more difficult. So you got to try to not get too hung up on trying to time it perfectly. I'm like, oh wow, I thought this bullish candle was just going to run all day. I wanted to, but there's no saying that that's going to be the bar that moves us higher, and we don't go a little bit lower at all. So that's why you got to try to have good stop losses at structure, which I did. You could also look at NQ, which was convincing me to take these longs over and over again. So arguably, should have just taken them on NQ. I don't know why I was forcing it all on ES. So same thing, the black VWAPs overnight, bullish overnight, pullback. Okay, cool. So trend's bullish, trend continuation would be back to the upside. But the open was a lot more bearish than ES. But look how much more it's respecting this overnight. No lower lows came in. Like it did 3 times on my ES trade. So if I had taken, arguably, if I took like one trade over here on NQ with the stop loss at low a day, I would have been in the whole idea throughout it all, right? While I'm getting stopped out 3 times on ES because it keeps making lower lows. So it's pretty interesting there of, wow, if I just chose this asset, but that's just luck of the draw, I guess you could say. Or if ES is making lower highs and lower lows, but I want to long it because of all the reasons we said, well, maybe I should just look at the asset that looks a little bit more in favor of that. This looks more bullish the way it's holding those VWAPs. So let me long it on that break above New York, or even that break above New York, right? This first break doesn't win immediately, but stop loss outside the open range low at structure, it would eventually pay you. You survive that pullback because it doesn't make a new low of day, and you take it to the open range high break, one and done on the day. One win, suffered some chop, but one win. Rather than forcing 3 longs against lower highs on ES. And then thankfully they all came together that you get one more retest of the overnight here, the bounce above New York, and see you later. So I think it's a great lesson on trying not to get too hung up on timing. Obviously, we're all trying to time it very well, but the same lesson goes to NQ. What was the price that paid? It was the New York VWAP, and it was holding overnight. But the price around New York here, you caught drift from there anytime you bought it there. So that's why we always look at it, right? And if you had a stop loss below structure every time, you win all those as well. So just keeping that 15-minute open as well as the electronic trading hours here is to see how well we're holding this overnight. That when we're holding this daily VWAP as our high or low, I'm really interested in the longs. It was just taking its time, holding those levels, and couldn't work itself out. One more thing while we look at ES again, because that's what I did trade. If we zoom it in here, my first long was somewhere around here, right? Okay, nice. So there's our retest of the daily VWAP. Close enough. It wasn't. Stopped out. I long it again on this pin. Couldn't close up there. All right, long it again on that pin. Couldn't close up there. Came right back down. So that's where my losses are. But at the moment of longing it, there's solid bullish bars back above that overnight. I got to be long. Because if it follows through like this one did, that was the idea. But I was, again, just a little bit early. So hopefully you guys made money this morning. I know you guys are on stream this morning taking longs with Austin and Randy. So if you want to join AceFX TV, we're live there all week long. You can use code FIRST and get your first month for free, as well as learn these strategies that we were teaching and trading today. But I think the longs were short-lived because you look at the rest of the day, right back down. So it's super, super interesting on how choppy it was at the open, gave a little hope for a new high, and then actually sank back down. And then in the afternoon, just a straight vertical up. I mean, where is the pullback? Why is it never that we long it like that when we're in these trades, right? I suffered through like an hour of chop, and I never buy it right then and there, and it just rips like that. Never threatening a trailing stop. Crazy price action, all in the last 20, 30 minutes of the day. But if you look at the rest of the day, on NQ again, I think it was a little bit cleaner. Could be wrong, but let's keep it on ES here for a second. You look at the overnight view up, it was trying to hold it again. And you look at NQ, I believe it was also trying to hold that overnight, even in the afternoon. Yeah, NQ was, again, a little bit better. At the price that paid was this overnight in New York. You catch the pop, it pulls back, it defends those levels again. Tries to defend it again here, right? You could throw in a high day view up, see when buyers step back in, take control. You can see they take control, stop loss below structure, quickly give it back. Couldn't sustain that bullish pop at all, despite it winning the battle in the morning, winning the battle here for like an hour or so around New York. They break the high day with strength and we're right back down. So very tough, end up just being a range day, as you can see on the 15-minute and this 1-minute. Horrific. So hopefully you guys made money in like the first hour and left, because I don't really want to have to trade these afternoons when they look a little ugly like they have been. And then you have another high day break over here, right back down. And at that point, it sets in the bearish bias probably, and then really just sits here for 2 hours. Maybe that's why you could definitely warrant a long, just because there's clearly some struggle and some support down here. But the timing of it, of you buying it right then and there, is a little hindsight bias. Why not buy it back there or back here or back there, right? So even there, you got to think about it that way. I wasn't in this trade, but you look at a long, if anyone was in a long back here, let's go there. Look at all this consolidation. We're holding this level. Maybe they got stopped out if they had a tight stop at low a day. And maybe they try it again. And then that stop loss at that low a day would hold. But you remove all of this, what's the price that pays? Well, if you just longed it like anywhere within here, it eventually would pay, right? Didn't move too much lower from there, but it kept on inducing you to get in long. So that was the price that paid eventually. So you got to try not to get too hung up on if you're wrong. Check if you're wrong. If you're getting new information like a new low of day, you're probably wrong on wanting to long it. But if it's really just holding these levels, maybe you're just early. Be willing to try again, but give it some time, wait for more information. It's really the name of the game. We got to wait for more information, and maybe we'll try again later. But back-to-back red days to start this month. Who could have seen that coming? Not the way we envisioned it, but they're very small, right? So minimize the small red days across my 3 top 1 accounts, which are on sale right now. So you got to scoop those up while they're 50% off. You can copy trade up to 5 now, actually. But with that, if I have one healthy green day, it'll swallow it all up, right? Because it's to 3 accounts. If I make $400, I'll be up like 1,200, so just slightly red. But regardless, easily recoverable. A lot of month left, still even a lot of week left. So stay tuned. See you guys on stream. Trade safe, and I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.